Kent County, a little bit lighter soil, more flat. On the western side of the county where it drains into the Chesapeake, the soils are not as well drained, and that area was problematic to farm until drainage and ditches started to come in the 1930s. But the rest of the county, very good soils, long tradition of vegetable crops, both for canning and freezing, and then also the grain crops, and also a tradition in the older times of shipping products out by the various rivers that come into the county, and also a dairy tradition, although not quite as heavy as Newcastle County used to be. After World War II, I think the most unique thing were the potato growers that migrated down from Long Island, New York. As New York City spread out, about 80 families moved to Delaware, mostly to Kent County, to start potato farms. And that was a huge characteristic of Kent County up until about 15 years ago. And then conditions changed and families changed, but now we have 5 potato growers, but it's still an important part of Kent County.
Overall, our farm encompasses about 800 acres. We grow 400 acres or so of corn and soybeans, but the other 400 acres is mostly devoted to fruits and vegetables, apples and peaches, cantaloupes, asparagus, sweet corn, pumpkins, and broccoli and cauliflower. And being involved in agriculture, a lot of kids don't realize that where their food comes from. They have no clue that, you know, a ear of corn grows on a stalk. It's amazing the questions I get. I go to the local farmers markets and a couple times a week in the season, and the reaction that I get from being a farmer, because people, little kids especially, you're a farmer? Like they don't know what that is almost.
Sussex is our largest county, largest agricultural county, and the soils are much sandier, so more subject to drought. In the history of Sussex County, there have always been specialty crops or special enterprises that took some of the risk out of being on such a droughty soil. For a long time, strawberries and fruit crops, which had some resistance to dry weather. Over on the western side of the county, watermelons, which are a very deep-rooted vegetable, were shipped out on trains in the late 1800s. Again, a crop that could withstand drought and provide some cash income to farmers.
I started farming with my dad when I was probably in the 3rd grade or younger, and we've been growing watermelons ever since then, and other grain crops and vegetables and things like that. Well, with watermelons, as crops like apples and oranges down south and things like that, they've got to be hand harvested, just for the simple fact that the maturities, they mature at different times, and versus a corn crop that matures at the same time. You harvest it with a big $400,000 combine and it's over with. So somebody's got to look at every watermelon individually and determine when it's ripe. Well, we have a group of guys that are called the cutters, And their job is to walk over and look at the watermelons and determine if it's ripe. If it's ripe, they cut it off the vine and roll it over so the belly's exposed. And then we have another group of guys that are called the loaders, and their job is to go back and go behind the cutters and pick up what's been cut and put it in a bus, hopefully handling it very gently, and then it's taken to the packing shed where it's unloaded and packed. The biggest thing we've got going for us in Delaware is our proximity to the Northeast, especially from the watermelon industry standpoint, because we are the farthest north economic stop for watermelon production. Our freight is so much lesser with the price of fuel and everything else. It's cheaper to get our product into New York, Boston, any of the Northeast cities than anywhere south of us. So it gives us an advantage. And I can't tell you about the rest of the country, but in Delaware, that's what we are. It's all about family farms. You know, there's larger farms, smaller farms, but it's all about the family, I think. So that's what we are. We don't have any corporate farms around here per se, you know.